And let me tell you who's here today. This is all brothers here today. It's all brothers here today. The female principle in the embodiment of a woman is absent today. We all carry the female principle inside of us, but I'm talking about in terms of it manifesting as a woman is absent today. It is all male energy. So I'm excited about where that's going to take the conversation. All right, so let's do this. Now, we will get back to this, but I want to start with this. And just for a moment, I will explain all of this later, but I just want to plant a seed right now. So really, brothers, I just want you to reflect. You can close your eyes or light a candle. Quasi, you probably already have a candle lit. Dante, you probably do too. But light a candle or an incense and really just reflect on this question. Reflect on this question. This is an exercise in intuition. Reflect on this question. What kind of man am I? What kind of man am I? Just reflect on that. Reflect on that. What kind of man am I? This is a conversation you're having with yourself in your head and in your heart right now. What kind of man am I? And think maybe, just allow the 12 disciples of Jesus to come to your remembrance. 12 disciples, 12 teachers, 12 helpers, 12 archetypes, if you will. Think about those. And also, just think about any colors, a color that might come to your remembrance. And so if there is a number between 1 and 12, thinking of the archetypes and the disciples, there's a number between 1 and 12 that resonates with you, or a color that you see that's coming to you, just speak that out when you have it. This is not a guess. This is not guessing. This is about what's already there and you connecting with that. If anything is rising to the top as you think about what kind of man am I? A number from 1 to 12 or a color.
For me, the number 12 comes up.
12, okay. Very good. Quasi?
I'm going with the number 8, and I'm kind of in the area of orange.
I just need one or the other. What's stronger for you, 8 or orange?
Let's go with the 8.
Okay, very good. And this is all around what kind of man am I? All right. So I've been reading this book called Man, Heal Thyself. Man, Heal Thyself. Journey to Optimal Wellness by queenafua. Queen, A-F-U-A, queenafua. Man, Heal Thyself. And what she does in this book, she takes you on a journey up the chakras from the lower animal nature to your higher cosmic spiritual Christ nature. She takes you on a journey from dis-ease to optimal wellness. Because all of us are brothers, we well know the statistics of those of us who have high blood pressure, diabetes, and the list goes on, heart disease, all the things that we deal with in our community as African American men. So this book takes you on a journey from your current state of health to an optimal state of wellness. And she does that by taking you through green foods and taking baths. I'm not a brother who takes baths, but she recommends taking baths and putting different things into the water and certain herbal teas. It's all natural journey that she takes you on. And as a result of going on this journey, you go up from your lower animal nature up to your highest nature. And she takes you on that journey through different, what I would call, and what we would call, given that we're in the study of sacred contracts, archetypes, different archetypes. But they're different states of being for the brothers. And you journey up this ladder, like Jacob's ladder, to your highest point of health. And she starts with an archetype called the family man of unity and wealth. Here's what she says about that. I'm reading from her book now. This is page 71. A family man represents unity. Unity represents harmony, and harmony creates abundance. Poverty is the result of discord. For one to be a family man, he must establish an inner state of unity. As a man unifies his inner self, his family reflects his inner harmony. The family man makes every possible effort to secure himself and his family's survival with food, clothing, and shelter. His world revolves around building family, nurturing family, communicating with family, and cultivating family. The family man knows that family is the foundation and the root of his success. The family man's focus is to build material abundance in order to stabilize the unity and growth of the family. The family man must possess creativity, vision, and an unwavering inner commitment to manifest a strong family. Now, the family man is associated with the root chakra. Root chakra is survival, and a lot of fear impulses are in the root chakra too. So that's number one, and that's associated with the color red. I'm just going to work you up. I'm going to work you up to what you actually chose here today, okay? Number two is the color orange, and that's associated with the sacral chakra, and that is the sensual man. The sensual man of heightened sensitivity. The sensual man is in tune with all of his senses. His visual sight, his inner sight, his taste, his smell, and his touch, and is thus alive and aware of self and the partner in his life, and in life in general. The sensual man is firm in body, steady in dispositions, and warm of heart. The sensual man will hear your very thoughts. He will be intimate, sensitive, and connected to your every move. The sensual man knows when to be still and when and how to approach. The sensual man is in harmony with his masculine and feminine balance. The sensual man's genitals are in their prime due to the total vibrant flow of blood and oxygen derived from a vegetable-based lifestyle, which gives man a potent, sensual sex life. The sensual man conceives and manifests healthy visions and children and or worlds. That's the sensual man. That's number two, associated with the color orange. Number three is associated with the color yellow. And number three is the transformation man of renewal. The transformation man of renewal. The transformation man has the ability to learn from every life experience. Through the process of ingesting the experience, recovering from the experience, processing the experience, living and digesting the experience. If the experience is for you, meaning it's part of your life force, then you become one with the experience and you grow with and through it. If the experience is indigestible and it is not meant for your development, then you as a transformation man have the ability through detoxification to learn from the experience, which supports the transformation man to release the challenge and the experience, to flush out the storm through prayer, meditation, visualization, journaling, healing baths, and soul sweats. The transformation man is able to learn from every experience to grow, expand, and rise up from. The transformation man believes that every life lesson is a blessing. That's number three. Now remember, your meditation, when you chose this, when you spoke from your intuition, what you were meditating on is, what kind of man am I? So you chose from that space. So remember that. You chose from that space. What kind of man am I? Number four, associated with the color green. The lover man of harmony. The lover man of harmony. The lover man of harmony. This is associated with the heart chakra. The lover man is filled with the pure spirit of the Most High. He has a huge heart filled with love, mercy, compassion, and forgiveness. The lover man heals the broken heart of wounded souls. A lover man honors and respects, restores, not damages, and is trustworthy rather than dishonest. A lover man is not a double talker. He says what he means and he means what he says. You can trust him with your heart. The lover man fills the world with music, poetry, song, and dance with every thought, word, and deed. He pours love into the air. In the body of lover man there exists a safe haven, a place in him that you can trust to be honest. The lover man will nourish you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and sexually. Even when at your worst state, one cannot take away from the lover man because his love is self-generating like the sun. The lover man carries within him a fiery heart that dissolves the rage of a fibroid tumor, a wounded heart that is seeking to be whole, or a broken spirit that needs mending. The touch of the lover man makes the coldest soul warm again. The lover man is his own healer, and he can heal himself, leaving him free of heart dis-ease and strokes. A lover man of soul beauty will mystically bring you into a harmony profound. That's number 4, associated with the color green. Number 5,
Okay.
the communication man of connectivity and creativity. I'm reading from the book Man, Heal Thyself by Queenafua, which is a journey from your lower nature into your higher spiritual Christ consciousness through wellness, choosing to eat right, exercise, and to practice, have a daily spiritual practice. She goes a lot into daily affirmations, sunrise and sunset meditations based upon ancient Egyptian affirmations from the Book of Coming Forth by Day. There's a lot in here, but I'm just giving you the archetypes. This is the journey upward that we're talking about. So we're on number 5, associated with the color blue, the communication man of connectivity and creativity. The communication man has the ability to shape and reshape life, people, environments, places, and things with his words. The communicator can enter into a body temple and speak dis-ease out and speak wellness into a sick soul. The communicator man can ease pain, clear mad thoughts, realign one's purpose, open the way to those who have lost direction, and begin a new pathway all throughout using charge-conscious words that heal. The communicator speaks words as medicine and therefore gets you out of harm's way. The communicator speaks you up from the depths of the earth and inspires you to grow beyond your apparent limitations. The communicator said, be encouraged and live your life to the fullest. And because the communicator has spoken to you with such strength and conviction, love and understanding, you do. Glory to God. That is powerful. That is number 5. I'm telling you. All right, so that was number 5. This is number 6. It's associated with the color indigo. This is the intuitive man of clear vision. The intuitive man of clear vision. The intuitive man is one who is a seer and who can hear the words from your silent thoughts and interpret them. One who can decipher your past and look clearly into your future. The intuitive man trusts himself to be a knower. The intuitive man lives in the spirit and by the spirit. The intuitive man is connected to his inner voice, and that voice carries him through his life's journey. The intuitive man feeds his conscious and subconscious mind with inversion exercises. Inversion exercises are when you lie on your bed or lie on the floor and put your feet up at a 45-degree angle to the wall. That way blood flow reverses to your brain and not away from your brain, which it does a lot when you're just walking upright all day. That's what an inversion exercise is. Okay. The intuitive man feeds his conscious and subconscious mind with inversion exercises, meditation, daily prayer, and green plant foods that strengthens one's intuitive gifts. That was number 6. Moving on to number 7, which is associated with the color white. The universal humanitarian man of global wellness. The universal humanitarian man of global wellness. That sounds beautiful. The universal humanitarian man. Doesn't that sound beautiful? The universal humanitarian man of global wellness. The universal man is in alignment with supreme consciousness, with the light, with the source, with the netters, with God, with Allah, with Jesus, all the many names of the Most High. The universal humanitarian man contains air, fire, water, earth, the sun, stars, and the moon, which flows clockwise, the direction of optimal wellness, rather than counterclockwise, flowing in the direction of dis-ease, toxicity, pain, suffering, and lack. The universal man is in harmony with the source of life and receives optimal guidance from the source, which gives the universal man supreme knowledge. That was number 7, associated with white. So now we get to Brother Quasi. This is number 8, associated.
I am here.
Associated with the color purple. Didn't you ask about purple earlier?
I asked about orange But I did ask you about purple as well.
Stick to the point, brother. Stick to the point, Brother Quasi. Earlier you asked me to go into the purple chakra and to talk more about the color purple.
I did.
Right.
I did.
So illuminated man is associated with the color purple, and here's what that says. The illuminated man who releases his past karma and Shay trauma. Isn't that your word, Shay Hotep? Didn't you say Shay a lot? Mm-hmm. And Shay trauma is thus not a slave to his past life. One who has elevated from a toxic karmic debt. As a supreme man of radiance, I sit on my inner throne of illuminating light. The illuminated man is a man that shines from within. The illuminator is a man who can see the light at the beginning, middle, and end of the tunnel, and is able to help you, the seeker of truth, to see the light as well. The illuminated man can make all things possible through prayer, meditation, affirmations, and visualization. The illuminated man has risen above jealousy, rage, inferiority, domination, and oppression. The illuminated man has learned from his life lessons. The illuminated man is compassionate, loving, and merciful. The illuminated man has forgiven himself and all others for their past mistakes and misgivings, for he has acquired the blessings, knowledge, insights, realizations, and remedies from his lessons of life and has overcome. The illuminated man has broken toxic habits and patterns that have been created from karmic debt. The illuminated man does not place blame. He takes full responsibility for what he attacks, and he takes each opportunity to grow, expand, and learn from his experiences. The illuminated man is in the world but not of the world. The Nile Valley affirmation of the illuminated man is, I am that I am, a shining being dwelling in light. Glory to God. Now, do you resonate with that, Brother Quasi?
Oh, absolutely. Especially getting rid of all that past stuff and getting over that, yes. Absolutely. I mean, I'm just amazed. I'm actually in awe just kind of listening to the different things that you're saying, because I'm definitely at a place of, you know, prayer and affirmation and the visioning and just getting over stuff. And so, yeah, I'm relating a lot to that today, and I think some of our listeners may be too. But it's just, especially around this time of the year, you just do a lot of reflection and self-reflection and what worked, what didn't work, what to surrender, what to give up, you know, and just that whole thy will be done is going on in my life right now. So, yes, I do relate to all that.
And I realize that the listeners in that you and Dante have not read this book. I have read this book. And so we're talking about number 8 up the food chain, 8 up. So when you say you relate to that, how much of what you relate to is a reflection of what you want to be, and how much is a reflection of who you are today? Can you talk about that?
It basically focuses on who I am today. I mean, I think everything that I've ever been through, every process that I have ever been through, this is, oh my gosh, this is so, I'm having a moment. Okay, so this is the aha moment. Last week, I kept hearing this song. Never heard this song before in my life. I don't think anybody has written this song, so maybe I'm just going to write this song. But it was talking about my life being in God's hands, right? So then, from there, I talked about it at church, went home, prayed about it, began to study it in the Bible, where David was talking about my times are in his hand and how he trusts God. Pastor asked me to teach Bible study this week. I talked a little bit about that. I mean, everything was just so connected, not to mention all the stuff that happened with the hats. But the bottom line is the reflection piece for me, the process, everything that I have experienced in my life, every good, every bad, the hurts, the pains, the happiness, everything has perfectly aligned and prepares me for the moment that I am in right now. And so when I talk about being spiritually perfected and being perfect, I'm understanding that everything in my life, every word, every disappointment has aligned to create what I am experiencing right now. And what I'm experiencing right now is just this blessed place and happiness and this spiritual enlightenment and just knowledge and wisdom and the revelation. And so I'm just excited about the right now, where I am presently, because I didn't never picture myself to be here, but I know that it's based off of the stair steps, the foundation, everything that I've ever experienced.
So my question to you was, when you hear this description of what I just read, is that a reflection of the man that you want to be or the man that you are now? And what I think I heard you say was that this description of the illuminated man is what you're resonating with. That's who you are right now. Is that correct? Right
now. That's who I am right now.
Okay. Let me probe that a little bit, because I hear you, and I think that's beautiful to be able to express. When you listen to the fullness of this man of supreme radiance and all of these beautiful things that I just read, how did you square that with the conversation that we had last spring about being stuck and I feel like I haven't done the work and I feel like I got so much to do and I'm not there? How do you square the illumination with a lot of the energy that you spoke of in that previous conversation?
Because this is all relevant. This is all moving. This is a process. And so at that moment, that's what I identified with. That's where I was. But now, I mean, things are just changing. It's just such a shift. I'm focused. I'm in my word. I'm praying. I'm affirming people. I'm giving. I'm receiving. Everything is a shift. And it's a process, and I think sometimes in life we don't allow ourselves to go through the process. We stay in one place, and because things look this way, we get stuck in that place. And I was there, and I think a lot of people can relate to that, of being in that place. But I'm grateful today that I trusted God. I trusted the process to flow with it and to move to my next level. So this is a shift that is happening in my life, and I was there. But now I'm able to be somewhere else because I trusted the process and went with the flow. Now, years ago, that would not have happened. I would have stayed there. I wouldn't have even imagined by faith that anything could be different. I would have stayed there. But then, in that process, when we were talking about that, I was still in hope of it's got to be something different. Something has to change for me. I believe it. I speak it to the universe, and I'm going to wait for it. And now it's beginning to manifest and process.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Let's keep moving. We're going to go to number 9, which is associated with the color brown. And this is the harmonizing man of serenity. Dante, do you remember what number you chose?
12.
Okay, all right. You're waiting patiently, huh?
Oh, I'm good. I'm enjoying what I'm hearing, pulling nuggets from everything that's been said, so I'm good.
All right. Number 9 is the harmonizing man of sincerity. The harmonizing man of serenity. Serenity. The harmonizing man of serenity. As a supreme man of balance, I sit on my inner throne of harmony. The harmonizer man is in supreme harmony with humanity. He is one who is able to evoke harmony with his fellow humans, both man and woman. The harmony man is harmoniously connected to his body, mind, and soul. He emanates harmony with family, friends, community, co-workers, and all of his relations. As a result, when those who are stressed or confused come into his presence, they are inspired, influenced, and charged to come into harmony. The ancient African term for harmony is ma'at. Ma'at represents balance, truth, righteousness, and reciprocity. The harmony man's heart is as light as a feather. The symbol of ma'at is the feather. The ancient African Nile Valley civilization was developed on the principle of ma'at. Ma'at represented social justice, and all on the land had a natural birthright to ma'at, meaning harmony and balance. That's number 9, associated with the color brown. Number 10 is associated with the color black, the nature man of regeneration. The nature man of regeneration. The nature man is in alignment with the harmonic, clockwise flow of the universe and with the flow of wellness, wholeness, and harmony. The nature man knows how to engage with the natural elements and therefore can use air, fire, water, and earth to restore, rejuvenate, rebuild, and detoxify self and others from mental, physical, emotional, and social disease. He lives harmoniously and has reverence for the healing calm of nature. That's number 10, associated with the color Number 11 is silver, the alchemist man of change. The alchemist. This is number 11. The alchemist, silver. The alchemist man of change. The alchemist man has the ability to move and transmute energy in people, places, and things through his thought, word, and deed. As a supreme man of power, I sit on my inner throne of transformation. The alchemist man has developed the gifts of transformation, of mobility, of changing a negative into a positive, of changing toxicity to purity, of changing a challenge into an opportunity. The alchemist possesses the power of transforming one from a diseased state to a state of wellness, of changing a dark and gloomy situation into a beautiful day, of changing a defeated person into an inspired soul. The alchemist moves energy, people, environments, and states of being to higher ground. The alchemist man moves beyond fear and impossibilities. The alchemist knows that if you can see it in your mind's eye, then you can achieve it. The alchemist man has the ability to harmoniously influence the physical and energy worlds within and outside of himself. The alchemist man is able to transform and transmute energy in people and things because he overstands, which is a lot of word that conscious people use instead of using the word understand, standing under the knowledge. A lot of conscious people will use the term overstand, so that you're standing over the knowledge and not under it. So that's what she means when she writes, because he overstands that he is one with all and just and can transform himself. He can do so with all things because he is whole with all things. That's the alchemist man. And the final archetype that she mentions here is number 12, which is what Dante chose, which is the highest level that you reach. When I talk about going from a lower nature to your highest cosmic Christ nature, this is the top. Number 12 is the highest level. This is what you chose. The supreme man of optimal wellness. The supreme man of optimal wellness, which is associated with the color gold, which lines up with you because you always talk about your orange, gold, that's in your favorite color family. So this is
right.
So this is in line with that. The supreme man of optimal wellness. This is the highest level of wellness that you can receive on this journey from your lower nature to your higher nature. The optimalist man is in divine oneness with Source. As a supreme man of wellness, I sit on my inner throne of optimal body, mind, and spiritual wholeness. He is the man who actively overcomes his trials and tribulations of pain and suffering, a man who vibrates and lives to his optimal frequency. Out of the mud of trials and tribulations, pain and suffering, to the optimalist Nefer-Atum. Nefer-Atum is a deity, an ancient Egyptian deity that is signified by the lotus. He wears a lotus on his head as a crown. And the lotus is one of the only plants that grows from mud. That's what she's talking about here, that you come through the muck and the mire of life and blossom into something beautiful, just like the lotus flower does, which is represented by this deity, Nefer-Atum. Is a man who has transformed through the waters of life, through the waters of life lessons, and has purified himself, thereby has elevated himself out of the mud of man through the 12 states of man's inner journey. The optimalist man is the supreme elevated man. He is totally in oneness and aware of his complete and whole state of being. The optimalist man is the man who rebirthed himself out of the mud of dis-ease, pain, and suffering, and has therefore liberated himself through purification acts of wellness. The optimalist man is the man that has blossomed into a Nefer-Atum, which means a lotus, a lotus man of inner and outer beauty. The optimalist man has the communication of all of the 11 states of man prior to this one. The optimalist man is in divine oneness with supreme consciousness, and he is living the highest frequency known to man. Through the optimalist man's awakening, the world is restored. That's what you chose. What is your reaction to that?
Wow.
That's Christ consciousness, brother. What I just read is Christ consciousness.
Wow. That's all I can say is wow. That's like so heavy, and that's something to aspire too. And the interesting thing is, with all the other, you were saying that it's a reflection of all the other 11. I was just thinking, I said, I can identify with that, all the particular points, and so that's a weightiness. That's about speechless. Like, wow. that's my.
Think through your thoughts. Think through your thoughts in this moment and try to share with us and the listeners what your thinking was by choosing 12, what you were thinking as that number came up to you, and as you hear this, because you chose that in response to what you heard within based upon the meditation of what kind of man am I? So where do you think that came from within you that you chose that?
Well, I've always resonated with the number 12, just one, because it represents my month, being born in December, and that's something that's always been special to me. Given the fact also being my birthday, with being December 25th, which is the day we recognize as being when Jesus Christ was born, that always carries a very, special significance in terms of being Christ-like. What I've always loved about Christ is his humanity, to love people, to be able to identify with people's hurts and pains, and to offer love and hope through whatever resources he had, whether it was a word, whether he prayed for them. And that's something I've always aspired to have. And it was never about me, but it was always about the person whom I'm communicating with, which always speaks to me. So when you're talking about the Christ consciousness, that is what is resonating within me in terms of those particular attributes that I do aspire to, and I try to, walk in that light.
So when you listen to everything that I just read, same question that I asked Brother Kwesi, how much of what you heard is a reflection of who you are today, and how much of what you heard is, and you already said this, so I appreciate that, is an archetype or a potential that you aspire to actualizing as you continue in your experience?
I would say the majority of that is something that I would aspire to. There are different points that has been stated in terms of some of the things in life, the mud that I've dealt with in my own personal life to try to walk out of and try to go out of. I think it's also interesting, you were talking about the lotus flower or the crown being on top, and because of my affinity for hats, and we were talking about hats being another word for crown, there's an identification there that I did not connect before, so I thought that was interesting as well. But most of those things I see glimpses of, and but I'm trying to get on that particular path and grow toward.
I think this is a beautiful moment for me and for you, because this is when I talk about listening to your life, this is what it's all about right here. And it's the power of your own mind and soul to choose its destiny and to walk in it, because that came up out of you. You chose that, and if I remember correctly, I think you chose first. You were very clear about 12. It was just there for you. 12 is a very powerful number. You can look at the 12 months of the year. You can look at the 12 disciples. I would also say 12 is the month that you were born in. When you look at the 25th day, 2 and 5 is 7, which is the day of completion. God created the world in 7 days and then rested. So you brought up the birth of Christ, which is the beginning, and the number 7 is completion. So that is a creative cycle there. I think the powerful thing that you talked about in terms of aspiring, because I agree with you, when I look at these archetypes too, I'm way down in like number 2. I'm way down at like number 2. I mean, really, honestly, I aspire to what I just read for you. That is like, when I leave this earth, I think the day that I hit that is the day that I'm gone. I'm like Enoch. I remember Enoch was here and then he wasn't. You hear what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like when I hit that, it's over, baby.
It seems like oh my God, how can I inspire?
Exactly.
Get to that particular point, because when you were calling out, you said pick out a number or color. I heard orange, but 12 was like 12. That just you say it's number 12, and then my whole body
Yeah, but let me be short with you because we only have a few minutes, and I want to respect your time. Orange, and I understand. I know you well enough to know why you chose orange. Orange is the region of your sacral chakra. That's where all your genitals are. Okay, so that's an inner message for you, and it's an inner message for me. Orange is where I was a couple of years ago when I was trying to overcome my promiscuity. You know, I was very sexually promiscuous. So orange is the color of that region. It's where your genitals are located. So these colors and these energy centers are about taking mastery over each energy center as you work your way up. The lowest being your feet, then your knees, then your groin, then your stomach. That's where I am now. I'm like on number 3. I'm in the yellow area, which is your solar plexus. That's where your stomach is. And me trying to master this food that I was talking about. So that's where I am. Then you go up to green, which is the lover man of your heart. Then you go up to blue, which is the communicator of your throat. Then you go up to indigo, which is your third eye. Then you go up to white, which is the top of your crown chakra, your head chakra. And then you move on up from there. There are 4 other energy centers above your body, which is where you're at the top one, which is Christ consciousness. That is a beautiful message from the universe, from God, from Jesus, for you today in terms of your aspiration. It's a beautiful message of comfort that no matter where you are in your life right now, that's where you're headed. That's where you're headed. I mean, I could weep just saying that to you. That's where you're headed. Remember when I said earlier, real faith and peace comes from knowing that no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay? That's it. That's it right there. That's what God is telling you today. That's what God is telling you today through your own power of choice. And we don't know what's going on in your life, but that must be what you need to hear today, that's where you're headed, to supreme Christ consciousness. So whatever mud is in your life right now, it doesn't matter. You work your way through it like the rest of us, one day at a time. One day at a time. You just keep one foot in front of the other, and you work your way through it because you know where you're headed. I used to always hear them say in church, when I used to go to church, they would always say, well, we know how to book ends. And that's the truth. We know how to book ends.
Right.
We're going to be okay. You know, we know how to book ends. So that's a beautiful message for you today. I'm so happy and so full that you chose that. When you said it, I almost gasped. I was trying not to gasp in the beginning when you chose it because I knew what it was when you chose it. And I was like, whoa. And I couldn't wait to hear what your response to that was once I tried to give you the background on it, because that is the highest form of consciousness that you chose. That's your potential. That's the measure of faith that God has put in you. That's why I was grilling Brother. That's why I was grilling Brother Quasi, because when you said that kind of everything that I read reflects where you are today, that's why I was like, whoa, that's great. That's great. I think I'm a pretty enlightened brother, but I'm way down the rung there. So I think that's awesome. If the illumined man is where you are creating from in this place, I just can only say that's amazing, brother, and that's fantastic. I think it's fantastic, and I have nothing but respect for that. I read this book, and I thought, I have a long way to go. I'm committed to the journey. Yeah, I got a long way to go. I'm committed to the journey, and I'm going to keep on it day by day, and I'm not going to quit on myself. But reading this book gave me tremendous encouragement of how much work I have to do.
In saying this, I am glad that we've had this opportunity to share with the brothers, because this is something that men don't get a chance to do, to be able to open up and share our space, share our hearts in this safe manner so we can grow from each other. And that's something that we men have to learn and embrace. Women can do it all the time. They get together, they cry, they show their pain, their hurt, and when they come out, it's left there. They still see each other as women, but we men don't do that. So for this space for us to share, and we still love each other and respect each other, and then encouraging each other to go into that particular space that we're trying to grow to, I think will also help us develop to that level of maturity and growth.
Well said, brother. Well said. And the book is called Man, Heal Thyself, Journey to Optimal Wellness by Queenafua. I would really recommend it. I really would recommend it. It's not a long read. It's only 140 pages. A lot of it, you can read it quickly because a lot of it has charts and places for you to journal. And, I read these kind of books and A lot of the things I probably won't do, there's some herbs and stuff that she wants you to buy from her and all of that, and I think that's great if you want to do that. I can make a lot of that stuff at home. The information that I take from it is what I share today. Now, we are each on a path. We're on a path. We are rising up the path. Rising up the path. Rising up from our own lower nature into our higher natures. And that path, I would just end today's conversation with this. Back in the day, from Pythagoras to, and I'm going to be quick because I know you guys got to go, Pythagoras and a lot of those guys that would come from Greece to go into Egypt to study, they would try to get into the mystery schools. It would take those guys like 20 years to get in. They would be on the waiting list for like 20 years. And to graduate from one of those mystery schools would take like 30, 40 years. That's why a lot of those guys were so old. Look at Moses. He was 80 when he went into the wilderness. 120 when he died. It takes years and years and years. And I'm thinking of you when I say this, Dante, because you and Michelle always talk about how the listeners hear us talking about all these things, and sometimes I can present it like, oh, it's just easy, just stop eating meat or just do this, and it's not easy. It takes years to cultivate some of these values and virtues that we're talking about. I have a healthier respect for that now, too. It takes years and years and years and years. I'm speaking for myself. I know that it's a long path ahead of me. I'm grateful for the road that has been traveled so far, but this humbles me when I read this book, because sometimes I can walk around thinking I got it all together. Reading this book, let me know, Robert, take a deep breath and put one foot in front of the other, because you got a lot of work.
One foot in front of the other. That's it right there.
Yes, you got a lot of work.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And there's nothing wrong with that, not to belittle that, not to diminish that, one foot at a time.
One step at a time. And the beautiful thing is, and this is what I love about what Brother Quasi said, the beautiful thing is the awareness of the awakening and the illumination. That's the most important thing. You just said it too, Dante, that you've always looked to Christ as a model and as someone to aspire to. That's the awakening. Because do you realize how many people don't have that? They don't have a star to steer toward. They are really, that song Amazing Grace is true. They are blind. Brother Quasi started off talking about spiritual perfection. They are spiritually blind. They don't have anyone to aspire to. The gift was that God gave you that, Dante, at such an early age. So you have it.
Right.
So all of the things that you're going through in your life today and that I've gone through in my life and I'm going through and will go through, and Brother Quasi and all the other brothers that are listening, when you have that illumination, that awareness of an illumination, it's all going to be okay as long as you don't quit on yourself. Now, I have gone as far from the front seat of that church that I grew up in as I could be. But with the illumination that is in me, it always keeps you on a course that leads you to the divine. What is that narrow and straight road that the Bible talks about? And that narrow gate on that narrow road, you know what I mean? You still have that star to steer toward once you have the awareness of illumination. And that's what this book brought out for me. Just how it made me realize the road is a little bit longer than I thought, but it also let me know that one center, one energy center at a time, is doable. And the last thing I'll say, Dante, particularly about what you chose, is that the reason why you assimilate all of the other energies to get to the 12 is because as you work your way up, as you master your way up, you incorporate all the virtues and the values of the center that was underneath of you. You see what I'm saying? So by the time you get to your heart chakra, you've already mastered your reproductive organs.
Right.
By the time you get to your communication chakra, you've mastered your love chakra at your heart. You master all those things as you go. So by the time you hit Christ consciousness, literally, that has to be where Enoch was. Whenever his crown just opened up and God said, "You ready?" Bam! He didn't even leave a body behind. He was just gone. I mean, that's total illumination. So I'm grateful that you chose it. It's an encouragement to me to see you choosing that, having chosen that in your life, because someday we'll look back on this conversation and you will have conquered so much more ground than you've conquered now in your life, and you'll be able to look back on this conversation and really, it'll speak to you in a way that it might not speak to you now. It'll speak to you.
Right.
That's a divine messenger. Same with you, Brother Quasi. This illumined man that you're talking about, as much as you resonate with that space right now, because it is an illumination, it's progress, as you brought out. You know, it's funny because as we get older, we'll be able to look back on different points in our lives and see how much road we've traveled and how much distance we've conquered since then. So it'll be good. We'll use this conversation as a marker for that in the years to come whenever we revisit this. But the book is called Man Heal Thyself by queenafua. Final thoughts from you, Dante, before I let you go?
My final thoughts is each man has his own journey, and what Robert said is we need to take one step out of the other to make those transitions to those levels of maturity. And don't be ashamed of it. Embrace it, and you'll learn a lot in the journey that is your journey and not nobody else's.
Amen, brother. Brother Quasi, final thoughts from you today on anything we talked about?
First and foremost, I just wanted to give a shout-out to our sister family that's listening and also to our co-hosts, because I know they're going to tune in at some point if they haven't already listening to the program. And then to all of our brothers and to the co-hosts today, I mean, amazingly, this was just an amazing conversation that was needed. It was so different, and I'm just so appreciative to it being different, that brothers can talk and enhance and sharpen each other on other levels than just the normal stuff that we talk about day to day. So I'm just really appreciative to that, and I hope that everyone receives something today as we continue this process to becoming spiritually perfect.
Amen. It's totally different with just male energy, isn't it? Totally different vibe.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, sometimes I have to be real sensitive about how I say things. This is going to sound so sexist. I don't mean for it to. But, you know, when women are present, you just are a little more sensitive, you know, in how you phrase things. Like, I don't feel like I have to be sensitive at all with the brothers, because I know we are socialized to punch and take a punch, whereas women are not. Like, that scares them to punch each other. But that's what we do. So when Quasi says iron sharpening iron, like, that means something different to us. And we do it in a different way than the sisters would do it. So I love having all the brothers here. I appreciate you both. I'll be back after the break, but Brother Quasi and Brother Dante will be back next week. So we'll see them at that point, and I'll see the rest of you right after this. We'll be right back.
Don't look for love from nobody. Find yourself to love. Find yourself to love from nobody. Find yourself to